Welcome to the Eyes on Ocean podcast. The podcast was created for marine mammals observers to share the incredible experience with whales and dolphins. My name is Claudia Erber, your host, and I invite you to embark and tune in to sea lovers' inspiring stories. Today we are recording the first episode of our second season of the podcast Eyes on Ocean. And to start our work with a lot of energy, we will meet biologist Alicia Quitting, who will inspire us with her study patch and passion for whales and dolphins. Welcome, Alicia. So happy to have you here.
Hi, Claudia. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really happy and excited to be part of this cool podcast.
So let's start from beginning. Please introduce yourself and tell me where are you now and where are you from?
Okay, so as you heard, my name is Alicia Quirin, and I'm 28 years old. I'm a marine biologist. I'm originally from Germany, so I grew up quite far away from the ocean. But now I live in Portugal, in the south of Portugal, so I'm very close to the ocean, which is amazing for what I do.
Yes, you are a lucky one to live there in Algarve. So tell me about your early days as a marine mammal observer and how your career has changed and grown over time.
Yeah, so I did a couple of internships when I was in my early 20s. That was really the first experience I had with how you do research on cetaceans and, marine mammals in general. And I remember how I went to the sea and my supervisors, they knew everything so well. Like everything seemed so easy for them. They were able to spot the animals from very far away. They were able to identify the individuals just by looking at them. And I was super impressed. And I tried to just be a little sponge and soak up everything that I could. And now I think I developed into that person myself almost, or I'm on the way to it, where my students nowadays maybe say the same about me because I learned so much. I learned how to spot the animals from far away and how to identify them. And so it's really cool to see my own transformation just within a couple of years and see how I changed.
Yeah, this is super inspiring story that you see somebody that you think, I would like to do that. And a few years later, you see yourself doing. Wow, congratulations. And
Thank you.
congratulations for your work as well, because we have been working together. You helped me a lot with my research and your ability not only to spot and identify the animals, but also to count them. I think is amazing because
Yeah.
for me it's still a challenge because sometimes
Oh,
there
for
are
me too.
so many subgroups and then how to start up to count. But I think you have a very good experience and I see how you also teach the interns to do it. So I think it's a beautiful patch.
Thank you so much. Yeah, but the counting is a really big challenge for sure. I'm also, when it's really big groups, it's more like estimating, guesstimating, but it comes with experience.
Yes, comes with it the experience in that boat because it's a small boat, so you also
Yeah.
need to learn how to measure the distance and yes, identify all the subgroups around. So I think it's amazing. How
Yeah.
long already are you working there in Algarve?
For AIM, I've been working for the past 3.5 years. So almost in July, it will be 4 years.
Wow, super nice. We will be there together. So tell me
Yeah.
about your early days as a marine mammal observers, but how you you became this marine mammal observer. Before that, how did you decide to be a marine biologist or a marine mammal expert?
Okay, well, so basically, you know how in kindergarten all of the kids they want to be a fireman or a police or a veterinarian. And well, I always wanted to be a princess just because I thought that would involve a lot of horse riding, and I really liked horses at the time because I would watch a lot of fairy tale movies. And well, in Germany in the olden days, they had a lot of horses. But then I watched Flipper with a dolphin, of course, and I watched other documentaries like Our Blue Planet, and I got really hooked on dolphins and whales. And so I said, okay, I don't want to be a princess anymore. Now I want to be a marine biologist. And so since I was a child, I basically wanted to be a marine biologist. And of course, being far from the ocean, I never really saw a dolphin in real life before. And so I tried to make that happen. I tried to convince my parents to take me first to dolphinariums, but then luckily to the ocean, where it's really a lot nicer for me to see the animals in the wild. And then I decided to focus my career on that as well and my academic career. So I studied biology in first in Germany. I did my Bachelor of Science in Germany, and then I did these two internships that I already mentioned. That was in Croatia and in Greece, 3 months each. And then I went on to study marine conservation in Scotland for my Master of Science. And that was kind of my academic career in a nutshell.
Yes, but it's a lot in so short time. I think it's
Yeah.
very important to you tell this about your internships because I think it's an important beginning of how you find out what to do if you really like to be at sea because it's amazing to be with dolphins, but we know that it's not so easy to be at sea all day rolling in the boat. Sometimes it's
Yeah.
a lot of wind, sometimes it's too warm. So it's of course you can be passionate for sea, but sometimes some people they just don't have the profile, and that's all right. And it's better they find out that in the beginning of their career than when they are ready out at sea and doing long-term research, for example. But
Yeah, definitely.
this about the horses is amazing. I love that story. I think it was a better option to be marine biologist than a princess.
Me too. Yeah, I have no regrets.
Okay, so tell a story for us about how are you protecting the animals nowadays as a researcher in AM.
Okay, so basically our day-to-day work, especially in the summer when we have our boat out on the water, is that we go out as much as we can, as much as the weather allows us, and we try to find the dolphins and collect data on their behavior. Feeds into a long-term database that we have. And of course, every time we can, we take our interns and our students on board. So I think there are these two things that is like on a day-to-day basis, which is like feeding that long-term database as well as feeding the interns with knowledge and trying to, like what you said, trying to make them figure out, is this what I want to do? Is this what I enjoy to do? Do I want to be a marine researcher later? And if not, most of them still really love to protect the oceans. And for me, that's really beautiful. But a specific story was actually during a beach cleanup where I was picking up garbage, mainly cigarette butts. And this one guy, he just says, thank you so much for your work. And I look at him and I'm like, wait, I know that guy. And he was actually one of the skippers from the marina who does these touristic tours. And in the Algarve, we have a lot of these touristic boats on the ocean. And so, of course, it's super important for us to partner with all of the skippers so that we can know what's going on outside, so that we can make sure that the rules are adhered to, that people don't harass the dolphins. And so I actually got talking to that man, and since then we're good friends and we keep in touch and like share information on what's relevant, what's going on outside on the ocean. And I think that's really cool to just out of nowhere form a friendship based on the ocean that way, and with our mutual interest to protect the ocean and to protect the animals.
Yeah, I super agree. I think is part is, let's say, 50% of the job is to understand the animal's behavior, to feed the long-term data, but also to educate people that are using the marine environment that these dolphins are living in, try to make them understand that to be a part of this environment and that they have the same rights of be happy there. So I think this is super important, the conservation side of of your work. Do you think that this partnership with the skippers are really going to a place that they can understand and behave better when they are showing the animals to the tourists?
Yeah, first of all, I really hope so. But whenever I'm on the boat, I can see the differences. Um, but of course, I really hope that they also adhere to, to the rules that we tell them or not even that we tell them, but the rules that are in the law, when we're not around. But yeah, as I said, I can see that even if our research boat is not around, and also with the personal relationships we have with these people, sometimes they come up to us and ask us, "Oh, how deep can a common dolphin dive? Like, do you have any data on that or something?" So they are really interested, and they tell us about something interesting that they saw, like, what is this behavior? We saw a dolphin do this and that. What does that mean? And so they are really interested, and also, as far as I can tell, see us as a source of knowledge or as a source of let's exchange some ideas. And so that's really great for me.
Wow, that's beautiful. I think it's important that everyone that study the marine environment, these fantastic animals, are open to do this exchange of information. That's one of the goals of this podcast. So, and what motivates you more about this job that you are doing now?
Oh, so what motivates me the most, of course, is being out there on the ocean, being out there with the wind in my hair and the salt in my nose, and of course seeing the animals, seeing the dolphins ride alongside the boat, and it's so amazing to every single time. For me, it's special. Every single time for me, it's beautiful. And what gives me this special motivation, this really special feeling, is when we see newborn dolphins. It's just so precious for me because they're just, first of all, of course, they're so incredibly cute, but the way they interact also with the mom. But then, of course, it's that reminder of this is what I'm here to protect. I'm not just protecting like all of the dolphins. I'm also really protecting their future, their babies, their that will be their future adults, and make up that population. And so for me, the babies really are, I mean, they are the future. Of course, we say that for humans, that children are the future. And I think for dolphins, it's the same way. And so for me, that gives me this extra special motivation and that extra special feeling to see them and to be able to be part of protecting them.
Wow, that is inspiring to hear, Alicia. Thank you. And now I just remember this day we were out at sea to record the movie, the short movie about
Yeah.
what was the planet, White Planet, I think.
Planet Wild, yeah.
Yes, and was for me one of the most amazing days of my life together with the dolphins. I don't know, hundred of babies. Was the sea of dolphins and mother and calf pairs
Yeah.
together and preaching, and oh my gosh, it was beautiful. I was so like it's so intense, the memory of that day, that makes me almost like cry just to remember.
I
It was
know.
a really, really beautiful. And
Wow.
yes, I wish we have more days like that.
Yeah, they're amazing. Oh, the baby dolphin days, they're amazing. It's so great when the season starts, when you see the first newborns, and then, it doesn't stop until the fall, and you just keep on seeing new babies. It's so amazing.
Yeah, beautiful. And about your most challenging experience, can you tell us one or two stories?
Yeah, so for me, both of the experience are a little bit similar into what happened, but the outcome might have been different. So the first story was in 2021, we spotted from the boat, we spotted a minke whale. But so of course, we were all super excited and super happy. Okay, let's go, let's get to work, get out the cameras. But then when we got closer, we saw that the poor animal was completely entangled in a net. So it had the head stuck in the net, in a really big net that it was trailing along its sides, along like even past its body. The net was way longer than the whale. And we understood also the whale was very skinny, super skinny, and its flanks were already very raw and just very injured. And it was so heartbreaking because there was nothing we could do. Like, we don't have the equipment. There are, of course, teams that have the kind of equipment, but sadly, we don't have a team like this here. So, of course, I mean, we have a knife on board, but you cannot do anything with a knife in that situation. And so all we could do is try to call different people, but of course, nobody could help us. And after a while, we just had to let that animal go. And that was really, really difficult because we knew that without help, the animal cannot free itself and will probably die. And so that was really, really, really tough to not only observe this, but to know that you couldn't do anything. And the second time was actually when you were on board as well, Claudia. When we wanted to do, the acoustics, but then we spotted this lone bottlenose dolphin that was not swimming well. And we saw also it had a fishing line coming out of its mouth. We did acoustics, we heard that it was not vocalizing. And so we called different teams, and we were able to get the rehabilitation team on board with us, coming with the maritime police boats and everything. And so we tried different things, different ways to help the animal. And we were with that animal way longer than we were with the whale. And so it felt like at least we were able to try to do something. But in the end, also the animal was too scared of us and we couldn't help it. And so I think these are two of the most challenging experiences where you see this kind of pain and you cannot help and you cannot do anything.
Yeah, it's painful, it's heartbreaking, as you said, because they are huge animals. They're strong, even if they are not
Yeah,
in their best condition. But to
definitely.
us, to approach, to take off the line or whatever they are tangled, it's very difficult. And because we see so many YouTube videos, we think,
Yeah, of
let's do
course.
it, let's save the animals. But
Yeah,
it's very difficult. And that day, the bottlenose dolphin situation, we were like 5 hours following the
yeah,
animal, and then
yeah,
come a dolphin watching boat and take the opportunity that the animal was swimming in slow and stay around the animals, and we need to explain that the animal was ill and please let him alone. So
yeah,
it's all
yeah,
the situation around as well. And as you
exactly.
said, we spend hours, we managed to get the experts to help, but we didn't manage to help. I was crying like for 1 week because of that. And I feel like, oh my God, how can I be like this? How can I be so sensible about that situation? Because we should be prepared because there's so much pollution in the oceans that, but we are not ready. We are not ready for let animals suffer and die because of wrong human being attitudes.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
very difficult.
yeah, it's very difficult. But let's move on and talk about the good things because yes, it's part of being in the field and be at sea to go through challenges. But of course, we always try to focus in this amazing and good experience. And if you think about the sea, because you said you come from a place that was far away from the ocean, and now you live almost in the ocean. What the sea represents for you?
Yeah, to be honest, even though I grew up so far away from the sea, for me it's still home. For me, it always presents home. And I don't even mean my own home. Of course, I live in a house, I don't live in the sea. But I know that it's home to so many amazing species and to such an amazing biodiversity. And so for me, yeah, when I feel the ocean, I feel home. And when I see the sea, for me, it also is very just gives me immediately a sense of a very big familiarity. Even though maybe I have never been to that place, but the sea is always the smell, the way the waves spray, the way it feels, the way, it looks, for me, it creates a very familiar and comfortable feeling.
Wow, that's nice. I share this feeling that the ocean is my home. And if I stay, I don't know, 1 week away from the sea, I still like feeling something's wrong with me. And
I
I
know.
think it's about this the salt air, the salt. I don't know. It's like you said, you feel like you are out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, for sure.
And exciting experience with a special animal, a special situation. Would you like to share it?
Yeah, so that question is actually super difficult because I have so many. But one of the best things that really happened was last year in May when we had another minke whale, this time luckily not entangled. And the animal was very curious about the boat. And so we just at one point ended up turning off the engine because the animal would swim away and then swim back towards us and look at us and turn its belly to the boat. And clearly, you can really see when, like, you can understand that they're looking at you. You're not just looking at them. You understand when they're turning their belly or they're turning on their side to be able to see you better, and then swim away again and then come again. And then at one point, it was really close to the boat, in the back of the boat, and all of a sudden just raised its head out of the water, which I've never seen before. And so that huge whale was centimeters away. We were completely stopped, and he was just raising the head out to look at us, I guess, and just kept there floating for a good minute and a half or 2 minutes, floating with the head out of the water. And we had
Wow.
all of the students on board and everybody was dead silent. Like, how they scream, we all scream, I scream when the dolphins are jumping or something, but in this moment everybody was completely silent and enjoying that moment. That was so special. That was so insane.
Wow, I could to see all the experience now, all the scene. Beautiful. Yes, I never heard about the Mig. It was kind of a spy hope, and she kept
Yeah, a
the
little
head
bit, yeah.
outside,
Kept the
just
head,
looking.
yeah. Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
these
Yeah,
minkies,
it
they are
was it was
amazing.
yeah, it was amazing. It was so beautiful. Of course
And
we cried. I
they
cried.
I can imagine. And it's interesting because even if they are the smallest balloon wave, when we are at the Ketus, because the boat is quite small as well,
Yeah.
we see how big they are. So
Oh yeah, yeah.
they're amazing waves, even if they are the smallest of the group.
Yeah, and they don't seem so small when they're so close. Definitely. When you can
No.
see in comparison to your boat, you think, how are they the smallest that we can see here? They're still so big.
Beautiful. And
Yeah.
if you need to choose your favorite marine mammal, do you have anyone that you can say, this is my dream animal that I would like to see, or this is my favorite, and why?
Yeah. Yeah, so I actually have it here, which of course now in the podcast you
Oh,
cannot see. But I'm showing a little figurine of an hourglass dolphin. So the hourglass dolphins are my favorites, which I've never seen. I really hope one day I can see them, but they live in Antarctica, so it will be a bit challenging to see them. I actually just had a dream about them the other night, which was really
oh,
funny. But I love them because they're just so beautiful. So anybody who's interested, you should really Google hourglass dolphin if you don't know what they look like. But what also fascinates me is that they live in these extremely cold waters, in these extreme conditions, and they're so small. They don't really have that, like that big blubber like the whales do. I mean, they have blubber, but of course not as much. And I'm just really interested in how they can make that work. And they're just so mysterious in a way because, of course, we cannot study them so well. So for me, they are really my favorites that I really one day wish to see if I can make that happen.
yeah, they are super cute. It's interesting that you choose that one. It's a kind of, how you say when you love somebody but you know you will never reach. It's a kind of distance love, let's say.
Yeah. Yeah. A
Yeah,
long
but
distance
who knows?
relationship.
Yeah, long distance relationship. Exactly. That's what I was trying to find this expression. But do you have any plans to go to Antarctica like that to make your dream become true? Is there, or you just throw to the universe and hope that will happen?
Actually, not really concrete plans, but just now my cousin, she was actually on a cruise in Antarctica. She's now in Argentina on a horse on a horse farm basically. But she told me, "Hey Alicia, they're always looking for like wildlife guides, and you as a marine biologist, your field experience, you could do that job." And I would think, even if it's just for a season, if I would have to take some vacation here to do more work, but it would be for sure worth it. So I will for sure look into for one season or for one job, go as a wildlife guide down there. I think that's the best opportunity you might get, because research projects are also happening there, but it's maybe a little bit difficult or more difficult to get a specific research project. But there are possibilities.
Yeah, probably. Probably people that are linked to the university that have a research center or labs there in Antarctica, or they stay on board for like 3 months there in Antarctica. But yeah, that can be a good idea. And there in Algarve, are you planning any new thing, or you are just trying to get as much experience as you can? Do you have any plans for your PhD, or because I know you love bioacoustics?
Yeah, yeah, actually it's amazing. It's such an amazing field, bioacoustics. Like whenever we are on the boat together and you hand me the headphones and I don't want to give them back to you. I'm listening so much to the whistles and the clicks and the funny noises they make. It's amazing. But I haven't, yeah, I'm at one point I think I do want to do a PhD, but I'm not sure exactly when that will happen or if it's going to be with bioacoustics or other things, maybe mother-calf relationships, which is also
Yeah, this is a
amazing.
beautiful
Yeah,
research that Joanna started. I also want to, I don't
yeah,
know how yet. I really would like to have a chapter in my thesis that I could focus on mother and calf communication.
yeah.
But it's still a challenge because we cannot separate them from the group until now you can talk.
No,
So it's still
no.
difficult. I still try to finding out if will be possible because this research that Joanna already developed there with mother and calf is just fantastic.
Yeah, it's so interesting. Maybe there's a way if we can do with nursery groups, if we define, well, take the definitions that are already there and see if, if the acoustics change in the nursery groups versus the non-nursery groups. I don't know. Non-calf
Yes.
presence, no calf presence or calf presence. But it's
I
so
tried with the
interesting.
non-calf now when I
Yeah.
was writing the European citation the abstract. I was checking if I could compare non-calf groups and calf groups, but all the
Mm-hmm.
groups I recalled have calf, so that was
Ah,
impossible. Still, but
yeah.
yeah, it's something I started to talk with John and Andrea, and also about the drone. I know you are learning how to use the drone. This is an amazing tool. How it is for you? Would you like to some in some point take over this duty? Because I know I see you do everything. You are skipper, you are the the teacher, you are the researcher assistant, and when you go to the workshop you also help to teach. So there is any of these tools that you feel like I really would like to go deeper in this kind of research, or everything is super nice?
Well, yeah. So with a drone, actually, you're right. I'm practicing a lot now for a project that we're going to do. We have this massive project in Mexico where we're gonna also monitor mom-calf relationships in a fisheries context with a drone. And so, yeah, I'm practicing already a lot. And of course, if I get better, I would one day, of course, would want to, yeah, work more with a drone. But well, for now, it's still in the practice phase in the early days. So I'm still not very sure about it. But I think you can see so many amazing things from the drone that maybe you cannot even see from the boat. Just because if you're hovering over them, it's just amazing. The things also the mom-calf relationships, sometimes, the calves are just swimming normally with what you think is the mom, and then all of a sudden the calf decides, now I'm gonna run away, swim away really fast and just swims away. The mom doesn't care, and then the calf goes to another mom. It's like, wait, is this your mom? Who's this dolphin? Is this your sister or is this your big sister? I don't know, and we don't know. And it's just really funny to see how they're so similar in a way to what children would do, just run left and right and get really excited. And so I think it's such nice things you can observe with a drone.
Yes. Yes, I think is the future for cetologists because it's another view, and it's also interesting to compare what we can see from the boat and what we can see from the drone. Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
not
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I could drive a drone. I'm not a good driver, but I love to see what the drone, the images, and the results the drone can give to us. It's a really amazing technology. I would like to ask you if you have a suggestion, a comment to give to people that are starting the career or starting to looking for to be marine biologists.
Okay, well, advice. Yeah. So I would say one thing I think a lot of people will tell you or tell people who want to get into this field is that it's very tough. And it's true, it's very competitive, but there comes my advice, like don't give up and just try different ways to get your foot in the door, or try different internships, try also looking what you might like and finding out about your different interests, because I mean there's so many things you can do in this field. And I suggest just see what you're most interested in, and always stay in touch with everybody, like with your supervisors from previous internships. Make good connections, because they can really help you, and you can maybe even really help them as well. And so I think that's the most important thing, to stay connected.
Very nice, your advice. I am sure that our listeners learned a lot with this our chat, this nice conversation. I'm so glad that we made. And before we finish, is there a way for the listeners to get in touch with you?
Yeah, so I think the easiest way is over my email address. You can find it on the website of AIM, the association I work for. We're going to put the link in the description. But if you go on the website, and then there's like a little section where it says our team, and there it also says my name, and there you can of course send me an email, and also get in touch with me there.
Perfect. So I want to end this episode by thanking this incredible woman for her participation and partnership in the study and conservation of the marine life. Thank you. You are a very inspiring woman.
Oh, thank you so much, Claudia. Well, I can say the same about you, and I'm so happy that I was part of this amazing podcast. I'm super happy to hear the final episode, and thank you so much again for your invitation. It was amazing. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, was a lot of fun. See you in few months, I guess, when it starts to
Yeah,
warm up and then we go
when we
out
have the
to see
boat
the
out.
animals.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
All
Okay, thank you
right.
so much.
Thank you for navigating this far with us. Keep your eyes on ocean and ears open. Every 24, there is a new episode online.